Hey everybody, my name's Chris.
And I'm Brian.
This is Comedy Coalescence.
And this is a improv podcast where we interview improvisers from around the United States, ask them questions about their journey in improv, and we'll get them going.
Yeah, and this week we're going to interview my good friend Deric Brown. He's on a team called Crocodile's Dilemma. They were nominated for Best Comedy Group in Pittsburgh, as well as for New Team and Best Team at Steel City Improv Theater, and they won that shit. So we'll be here in a second with Deric. All right, everybody. We're here with Deric Brown, one of my friends from Pittsburgh stand-up scene, and we've dabbled in a little bit of improv together too. But we're going to talk to you about the whole improv side of things. So just give us a brief rundown of what got you into improv and some of your experiences performing improv in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Well, I've always been a fan of improv. Growing up, I used to watch SNL and learn that these people came from improv theaters. So when I moved to Pittsburgh, the comedy scene, stand-up comedy scene, wasn't really what I was used to. I'm from DC, so I was like, I'll check out this improv, and I loved it. It's awesome. It's definitely an improv town here.
What made you? Did you move to Pittsburgh for comedy, or did something else bring you there?
No, I moved here.
I was like for comedy.
No,
I guess you kind of stumbled into
it. Backwards if you did that.
Yeah, my girlfriend goes to college here, so decided to move with her.
Okay, cool. Where does she go? CMU?
Yeah, CMU.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's legit. So where did you study in Pittsburgh? You just Steel City, or did you bounce around to the other ones? Unplanned Arcade at all?
Steel City, and then a little bit of Unplanned.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, I mean, Steel City is like my home theater. I love it. So,
yeah, it's pretty awesome. I've done a couple shows up there, but I've never got to take a class, and I kind of regret not doing that. So that's like the OG improv theater there, isn't it? They were like teaching in like random buildings and stuff before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like arcade. I just didn't feel the need to spend another $1,000.
Yeah, just so do you think that like just a one and done through a program is all you need, or you like the
No, I think you need at least 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So it's basically like rules to tell you how to interact with people on stage. So you need to learn that.
Yeah. So how do you what do you like about Steel City Improv Theater? What's your favorite part of that place?
My favorite part of the place is they try to build a culture. Like they try to kind of make it, I guess they copy the UCB formula where they have like a set of, core performers, and I can think of a show there and it can be up in the next week, and it's great. They really promote it and they really give it their all. I like the place a lot.
Nice. What are some of the other theaters that you performed at? Like, is it mainly UCB culture across the board in Pittsburgh, or are there other theaters that are similar, like Second City style or IO style?
I don't know. What would you call arcade?
Arcade. So with Steel City, my understanding is that's a lot of like UCB, New York people started that, right? And then Unplanned, Woody is, the one-man improv army there. It's just all IO West, but mostly UCB, LA. What I know about arcade, because the same thing with like you, I didn't feel the need to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Like I love arcade. It's a beautiful place. Everybody there's super cool. So I don't know a lot about it, but what I do know is that they have a lot of Chicago people there. So I'm assuming it's very IO and Second City oriented. They actually, the one dude there, I don't know him. I think I've seen him at Jams Jethro. They name dropped them in one of my classes, like my level 4.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's more Chicago based there.
I know arcade does a lot of short form like shows, and it's okay for me, but I rather just do long form. That's what I love.
Why don't you like short form?
It just feels like a practice. It feels like the stuff we do at practice.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's, nothing wrong with it, but I just think it's just inviting the audience to see our practice.
Yeah.
So
pretty much warm up games.
Yeah.
And you do stand-up and sketch as well, right, Derek?
Yes, I do.
Nice. So how do you balance that? Are you mainly doing improv at the moment, or are you more into stand-up, or do you kind of just?
It depends, because it's weird. Because one time, like, I'll be into stand-up, and then my improv starts to suck, and then vice versa. I haven't figured out how to balance them. It's still weird for me. So
Gotcha. So you'll go through a phase where you're focused on stand-up, then a phase that's focused on improv. So it feels like you're constantly trying to catch up.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
You there? You just went out, Derek. That's you.
Okay. Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. But no, I can't figure out how to make it both, coincide with each other.
Gotcha. Do you feel like your stand-up has influenced your improv and vice versa?
Oh, yeah.
You feel they build off of each other pretty nicely?
Yeah, it helps me be faster. Now since I did improv, I can write a sketch really easy. Like, I know how to find the game and the buttons to do, and it's really helped the format of sketch writing.
And you started with improv before you got into sketch?
Yeah, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I used to write sketches, but I did nothing with them. Like in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Like, this is not good enough to, and thank God I didn't record them, right?
Yeah, it was a sketch about vampires, and that's not.
Hey, Key and Peele have a sketch about vampires. It's
that's
great.
True. That's
Sexy
true.
vampires.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your sketch team, your improv team, because you're doing some big stuff. You're in like the city paper and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah. So it's a group of friends. Like, we met in class. Normally, a lot of sketch teams are kind of put together by the school or the theater, and we kind of just vibe with each other outside, and we perform. We practice every week. We try to do as many shows as we can, and it's just great. We all get along with each other, which I think is the most important thing to do in improv. Because you see improv teams that hate each other. You can tell.
Yeah, I've been on a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
No, so what's the name of your groups and who's in them? Who's in your sketch?
House team right there?
No, I'm not house. I almost wanted to join the house team, but I want to, like, enjoy the people I do scenes with.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah.
To work with people that you know and build your own team.
My team's name is Crocodile's Dilemma. I don't know what that means. It's some weird fable. There's a lot of people on it. Emily Naples, Ross Hollab, a whole bunch of people, and it's great. I think we've been together for about 3 years.
Oh wow, that's a pretty long run for an improv team, especially.
Yeah.
How do you guys make that last?
I think because we're all friends, and we practice every week, so it's kind of like a good relief. And it's different from stand-up, because doing stand-up at night on a weekend or a weekday could be kind of sad, where improv practice is not that sad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's good. And have you cycled through a few coaches with your team?
No, honestly, we only done one coach, which is weird.
For the entire, and you've always been coached for 3 years?
Yeah.
Who is
Wow.
that? You don't mind
Weird,
me asking.
It's Rachel.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's
yeah,
fucking amazing coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
That's
she's awesome.
But it's weird. I mean, we also do like homework. Like, I bought this thing, like UCB manual. I mean, I bought this before. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, exactly. Before I did stand or improv, I read it. But yeah, I love it. It's great.
Pretty solid book. What do you like about it?
Improv or the book?
The book. I versus some of the other ones. It's a lot more in depth, I think, and more visuals and.
Well, I used to think like improv was this great mystery. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, and this improv, just seeing, because I look up to Matt, Ian, and Amy Poehler, and the other Matt, like gods to me. So just seeing how they can do it, and they put in like really easy to like get to know terms and kind of cheats and how to do stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's a pretty awesome breakdown of like everything's like super technical, which you don't really get that out here in Chicago at all. So that's one nice part about learning the UCB based stuff in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened in New York with UCB?
No, what happened?
They're shutting down all the New York theaters. They're dead.
All of them?
Yeah. No, I'll send you the link. Yeah, because they couldn't operate. Like, I guess they were hurting to begin with.
Yeah.
That way, but yeah, they're all shut down now.
Yeah.
They said they're still going to operate the theater underground. They're going to rent out some space, but they're closing the I think it's Hell's Kitchen and Chelsea, maybe.
I thought Chelsea was closed.
Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea, yeah. All the UCB New York theaters are closing, but they're still going to be operating and running through other spaces.
Yeah, the thing about theater, improv theaters, like they're always almost broke. So
Yeah.
it's it sucks, dude. Like you would think like Will Ferrell or there's some improv person would donate like a couple, $1,000 to them, but
Yeah,
that sucks.
because a lot of people say they owe their success to a lot of the theaters too. By the way, I apologize. My dog is rolling all over the ground, sneezing and making noises now. I don't know if you guys hear that.
I hear that. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. It's gonna be weird on a podcast. But yeah.
Yeah, man. I just love improv. What got you guys into improv?
Do you want to go first, Brian?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I was a kind of similar story to you. I was a big fan of comedy growing up. I was a big Whose Line Is It Anyways guy.
Okay.
But I lived in like Louisville, Kentucky for a while when I was young, like middle school. And so it just seemed like you couldn't go to shows. You can really watch comedy. It wasn't a big part of the Louisville scene. I moved to Chicago just with family and just kind of followed my interests there. I also spent some time in LA after I graduated. I moved out to LA and I worked in sales. So LA, it's very entertainment focused. I worked for Hulu, and the VP of sales at Hulu is like the funniest guy I ever met. He's like very witty. He's like completely a sales guy. He's bald head. He looks the part. And I came up to him one day. I was like, hey, like, how did you become as funny as you are? And he said, oh, I was on a house team at a theater back home for about 5 years, and I'm really into improv comedy. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And he was like, yeah, if you want to do it, the company will pay for it. So
really?
I took a class at UCB in LA and went to about 3 classes. And to be honest, I bailed because it was really intense out there. Everyone's an actor. It's LA, I think it's tough to get started in improv. And then moved back to Chicago about 2 years later, and then just kind of trickled in through Second City and then IO. So that's my story. Yeah.
What's funny is I plan on moving to LA.
Oh yeah.
Doing UCB. I work in sales too, so that's funny. But yeah, I'll give it a shot.
I think it's great. Like the shows out there were always incredible. It's a huge community. I think you can definitely find your place. And since you're established, you'll have no problem. I was just scared. I just had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, it's hard. That was your first time doing it, and
everyone was so good off the bat just because they have acting experience.
Yeah,
it's comedy college when you go to one of the big 3 cities for it.
Yeah.
Wow. Your turn, Chris.
Yeah, so me, I never intended to. I thought it was fucking stupid. Like, I knew some people that did it in high school. Like, hey, these people, it's stupid. It's hacky. But then, I started doing stand-up, right? And I would go to the Monday night. Were you in Pittsburgh for the Monday night at Hambones, the 5 and Dime? Where it would Yeah, so you do like a 5-minute stand-up set. There'd be 2 or 3 of them. They would do a 10-minute improv set based on it. And anybody can get
I think we've done it together.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a lot, yeah. But it's like my favorite thing ever. It was sponsored by Unplanned Comedy, which is Woody Drennan. He's a pretty awesome improviser in Pittsburgh. He came up in LA. But so I started looking at their website, and they had a sketch writing class, like a cinematic sketch writing and filming. And like, man, I was obsessed with like, Mad TV and Chappelle Show, especially Chappelle Show. I'm like, man, I want to write sketches. That's cool. And that's kind of one of the reasons I got into stand-up is like to learn how to like write and do everything. And it wasn't as popular as the other classes at the theater. So I got an email and he's like, hey man, the class is getting postponed. I can either just give you your money back, or if you want to wait, I'll give you a free improv class. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll give it a try. Maybe it'll help my stand-up. And that's like kind of destroyed my life from there. Yeah. So I kind of became, not destroyed, made it better. But yeah, so I went through all of his classes. I took some of them over again because like when he changed some of the curriculum, I was on a house team there for a long time. I was on a bunch of indie teams that like did a bunch of stuff at the 3 theaters and towns. And now I'm here doing IO Second City classes. So it's pretty crazy something that I didn't think that I wanted to do or liked is pretty much all I do now in my free time.
That's how it works. Would you guys say like you're good actors? Because I think I'm an awful actor. Like I cannot memorize. I just play a different version of me. Like, what do you?
That question is like, how narcissistic are you?
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
I think with me, I'm definitely getting better because out here it's a little bit different. So that UCB style that they teach a lot in Pittsburgh, it's very mechanical, right? Very technical. So you do this and this, and it's almost like computer programming code. If this, then that. That's literally terminology in the book. Where a lot of stuff out here focuses, like IO is like all about like relationship. Annoyance is all about being like yourself kind of thing. And there's also a lot of opportunities to do stuff. Like I met Brian in like a physical improv class. Okay, dog, we don't need that to start now. It's like a physical theater class. So there's a bunch of cool stuff you could do to get better. So I'm noticing myself get better from those different styles, but I'm still not the best.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't know if this helps. I guess it helps. Like I listen to podcasts that have like improv in them, and it just helps me. I don't know how it helps me, but it just feels like it does. Like Improv for Humans, like Comedy Bang Bang. I listen to that. I've been obsessed with it. I love it so much.
Have you taken classes outside of improv? Like, have you explored other forms of theater? Like, have you taken an acting class or?
No, I took this. Funny enough, I took the sketch class that Chris didn't go for, and that was fine.
I took it. I just took it later.
Okay, yeah. No, that was fine. Yeah, it's weird. I would stand up in classes. I think you should do improv classes, but stand up classes I disagree with.
I just took a stand-up class, and it's funny because I signed up for it and then kind of questioned myself. So I messaged Chris looking for some encouragement. I just wanted affirmation, and he told me, nope, you should not sign up for a class. It's not going to do anything for you. It's going to be a waste of money. And I think it's nice if you have no experience to just get up there and get comfortable, because half of what it is just speaking to an audience and just get comfortable doing that. It doesn't matter what you say. Mm-hmm. But then after a couple classes, I was like, okay, I can do this on stage, you know?
Yeah.
If you have like no performance experience, can you think about it? All three of us are salespeople, so we're talking all day long, right? Mm-hmm. We do improv, do sketch stuff. So like a stand-up class for us is kind of pointless. But if you're like a super timid, like introverted person, I think it could be good to be like a safe space to learn in case you're afraid. But other than that, it's just a controlled environment. I think it's.
I think that's the plus of stand-up is you go out there without like any net or any, safety, and you just either do well or don't. And if you don't do well, do it again. That's pretty much it. So I don't know. I mean, I've been doing stand-up since college before a lot of improv stuff. So
do you think that any of your like stand-up experience transferred over? Like I think that stand-ups are a little bit more, I don't know how to say this, like the ones that are into it are like way more committed on average than the average improviser. And like, I hate to use the term comedy grind, but do you feel yourself grinding more than the average improviser?
Yeah. So with the improviser versus comic doing improv, a comic would be okay doing a bad show. Like if I had 5 bad shows, I would still, do a 6th one. Improviser would probably think about quitting. We've had people quit our team. But yeah, it's just something about being a stand-up. You can take a beating, basically. Yeah, we're just abused.
Do you have any
abused kids.
Particularly bad beatings that you've taken on stage?
Yeah, worst film ever. Improv-wise.
For improv, I know we did this one show. It was at a bar, and they did not know improv was going to be there. There was no stage. We just got in the front of the room and started doing improv during a football game. It was bad. It was horrible.
Game.
Yeah.
So everyone was cheering, just not at you guys.
Yeah.
Ryan, that's one thing. If you ever do comedy in Pittsburgh, you have to compete with the fucking Steelers, Penguins, or Pirates at all times. It's terrible.
The thing about stand-up is you have a microphone.
Yeah.
So, and people will like, you know, give you a chance. Like they like jokes, but improv scenes, it's hard.
How was it? Were you just up there just dying for like 20 minutes, like no laughs, or did you win them over?
Oh, no laughs.
Yeah.
Basically, we're just having fun up there. We're trying to make each other laugh, and that's pretty much it. That's all you can do is just try to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys? What's your worst bomb?
Oh, fuck. A lot.
You want to go, Chris, or you want me to?
Okay, so my worst bomb, I still remember this because I was, it was kind of like an Armando, but like not really. My house team and Unplanned was doing. And we just had a workshop with this one UCB lady, right? I can't remember her name, but she was kind of like a bigger deal improviser, like a New York improviser coming through. And she came in, she coached us, and we're like, yeah, everything is awesome. And then that's like the day I got like laid off or like kind of fired from my job. So I was like fucking just depressed. And I get on stage, I do the monologue all about just super negative, terrible things. Because the suggestion was like, I have a suggestion, how was your day? And somebody goes, shit. And I'm like, okay, great. And I have to give this like monologue that just like sucked the life out of everything. So I personally single-handed, I'm pretty sure I just destroyed the set in probably like the whole entire night. And it was just like unplanned, packed as fuck. So it's like 50, 75 people just rammed in there, just no laughter. Just my dog Carl going up and just eating shit after eating shit after eating shit. Yeah, so I think me being a negative person, I felt actually bad. We got yelled at. Our coach yelled at us after that, actually. He's like, it's not that hard.
That reminds me of an Armando show. I did an Armando show about 4 weeks ago. No, longer. Wow, how long have we been in quarantine? But right before quarantine, I did an Armando show. So that's the form where someone gets up and speaks a little bit, tells a story, and then we do improv off of it. We didn't have a monologist, so just one of the people from our improv team. And this is like a student team. It's like a graduation show. And I can't remember what the suggestion was, but the person comes out and says, hey, do you guys remember Columbine? And the story was fine, but the intro to the story was not the right intro to the story. And so we had to do a little bit of Columbine prov, and that's not my biggest bomb, but the team didn't do that great for that. But my biggest bomb is definitely coming out amidst a panic and speaking with my tongue out of my mouth like this. So the audience couldn't even hear me. I was just freaking out. This is when I was pretty new into improv. And then someone did a tag and kneeled down on the ground and stuck their tongue out of their mouth and nodded. And it made sense in the scene for me to grab their tongue.
Yeah.
In front of an audience of like 10 people. It was just.
Were they cool with it, or?
They were cool with it. Yeah, they wanted me to do it, but everyone else in the audience was like, what the hell are you guys doing? There's no need for that move.
How do you guys feel about another improviser kissing you on stage? It's a cheap laugh. I don't want that.
Yeah. Like I don't. This is kind of terrible. Like I don't want it, right? Like I'm somewhat of a germaphobe person in real life, but if it's gonna be funny, I'll do it. Like I'll whore myself out for it to be.
That's for me. What I like in comedy is having no limits and being able to push the boundaries, but it has to be justified by the moment. If there's a moment that leads up to that, then I'm fine with it. But if it happens in like the first minute of the scene, it's not earned, then that would really bother me. Go ahead.
Like the classic, you get pulled over by the police scene out of nowhere, the cop tongue hitting you, just.
This part of me, I think it's kind of a cheap ploy. You can easily get a laugh, two dudes kissing, and it's an easy laugh. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like cursing in comedy also.
Exactly. It's like, letting your pants fall down. Come on.
It's not playing to the top of your intelligence, as they say.
Yeah.
You sold out the whole scene. So I'm sure there's scenes out there where it could work, but like probably try to avoid that just in general.
What's the worst suggestion you guys got ever?
My friend went to one of my shows and he gave me pickle as a suggestion.
Oh, I don't know why people do food.
I
They
know.
do pickle or pineapple.
I started the show by saying, "Are you freaking kidding me, Marcos?" And then explaining why it's a bad suggestion.
We got there's the one co-op show at the crowd. Somebody I was like, I got this suggestion, and I'm like, okay, can I have a suggestion of something? Somebody said something along the lines of like Chuck E. Cheese or a pizza party. Yeah, it was like a pizza party. Then somebody else stood up and yelled Ground Zero.
Oh yeah, I've gotten that. I've gotten 9/11. I've gotten cancer.
Yeah,
That's like that scene in Ted.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, when I was new, I'd be like, well, they said it, time to do cancers. Yeah, but you can just ask for another one.
I took it. That was the problem. I think I upset a lot of people. I was like, okay, pizza party at Ground Zero, and then everybody in the audience, ugh. And I just he said it, not me. And luckily that kind of like diffused it, and then we didn't do anything with 9/11 after.
Yeah.
So
There's been times where people will say like, oh, Trump, and then we would do like a Trump joke and we get like booed a little bit.
it's like you said it though, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Because the coach was like, hey, you guys should probably stay away from politics. It kind of splits the crowd, but I don't know. I think it's all fair game.
So have you ever done a show in another city or improv in another city, like a scene different from Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Or played with people from other cities in Pittsburgh? What was that like?
It was weird. New city means like a new type of humor. They find stuff differently. That's funny. I did in Nashville. Yeah, that was cool. That was we kind of played blue there.
Mhm.
Like, kind of was pretty dirty. Where else did we play? We played some Bethlehem. We got in some festival, but I forgot what it was. But it's weird.
Still Stacks or something like that.
Still Stacks, yeah. It's weird seeing the different types of humor from state to state, and yeah, it's weird. I still can't get over. Oh, I think this has just ended. I still can't get over the different types of groups out there. It's just ridiculous.
So what's one more thing too?
Yeah.
On the subject of other groups. What's the big form in Pittsburgh now? Because when I left, every team did a fucking living room.
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of been I haven't seen any new teams. I just seen people still doing their Armando and doing that. I haven't seen any new forms yet. So
What forms do you guys do?
we do basically we present. Oh, what do? We do a soap opera. Well, so we get someone to give us the name of a fake soap opera, and we basically perform that soap opera,
That's
which
pretty
is
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah.
So while we're talking about your team and stuff, what do you think that it takes for a team to perform well? And what do you think made your team so successful in the city?
Oh, 100% chemistry and getting along. And when you work with a team, you get to know their sense of humor. You can kind of set them up because you know what they're going to say. So, because we have this woman on our team who loves to sing. So we'll do something like a singing doorbell or something like that. We'll just set her up. Like we know what her talent is. Like if someone has an impression of, I don't know, like Obama, we'll say something like that. It's great because you get to know what they can do and what they can't do.
Talking about singing, do you like musical improv? You ever
Oh, I hate it. I hate singing on stage. It just.
What about freestyle rapping?
Oh, I can't freestyle rap. Chris can, but all I have is like 2 lines, and then afterwards is nothing.
Oh god.
That show was a lot of fun, by the way. Wu-Tang Van was the name
Yeah.
of it.
Chris and I did a duo show called Wu-Tang Van, and it was basically we were 2 rappers about how we rose to stardom, and yeah, the last scene was supposed to be us doing the great song to end it, and it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard.
Oh man, that sounds tough.
Yeah,
You guys are pimping yourself with that show. It's like it's gonna be a night full of pimps.
yeah. And we didn't even practice that together. We just knew we had like chemistry, but it worked out really well.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Fun. So, what's your biggest influences, like locally and famously, in comedy in general, and then specifically in improv? I know you said the UCB guys.
Yeah.
What else?
Let's see. SNL. It's really big for me. Like that is my mecca there. A lot of improv like podcasts. I like. You want me to name names?
Yeah, sure. If you want, if you don't want to, it's fine too. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
no. Like I like Paul F. Tompkins, Lauren Lapkus, that crew. People in town. I like Rachel. I think she's good. Trying to think of. I don't know her name. She goes to arcade. African American girl. You know what I'm talking about? She's always there. I forgot her name, but she's awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names.
I'm not too familiar with a lot of the arcade people.
Yeah.
I know what Mary C. Parker. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'm more familiar with all the unplanned.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I hung out at.
But it's weird because I need to go and watch more of local people do improv, which I don't.
Yeah.
Normally, I just watch people who open up for us, which is kind of crappy to do because I need to watch more shows.
So what's the best advice you've ever gotten from an improv coach, a teacher, anybody? What's the best advice?
It's going to sound corny, but the old saying that you are enough, you don't need anything else. That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that works. It's like you're enough. You're funny. You don't need to do whatever it is you're trying to do. You're fine. And that just released tension, and it was good. It was good after that. I don't know why. It's so corny. I don't know why that works. I don't know.
Stuff like that matters a lot.
I heard a similar note in a podcast that I was listening to over the weekend by a woman named Jet Eveleth. And her thesis on improv is that you should not change who you are when you get on stage. I think it's pretty easy to try to flip a switch and become an entertainer. But really, you need to get up there. And if you want to become more interesting, then the way to do that is become a more interesting person.
Right.
I like that. Your boundaries. Yeah, explore more things in life, and then just show up on stage. Don't change anything. So yeah, it goes along with what you were saying.
Yeah. What about you, Chris?
Best advice, probably it's somewhat recent of stop playing with your stand-up writer brain and just start playing emotionally, like let it impact you. Because like I can get super into like patterns and like, just like beat the whole game of a scene idea in, and they kind of don't do that here. So I started trying to let things sink in, let it affect me, care about the other person. And I noticed that the scenes got a lot deeper. And it's cool to switch back and forth between the two schools of thought like throughout the set. So that's probably my best one.
I had the same issue. Like as a comic, you're used to thinking of a closer. So I would like set the scene up and then try to think of a closer, a finishing line. But that's all I would do. I wouldn't react, and I would just try to write in my brain. And
dude, you don't even notice that you're just standing there, just writing, and just going like you'll get laughs, but like the audience doesn't take it home with like they don't remember it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's better to react naturally and not get a laugh than just go up there and act stiff and say funny stuff.
Yeah, totally. So how about you, Brian? What's yours? Best advice.
My best advice, it kind of goes with what Deric said about just bringing yourself on stage. But it's a note from Noah Gregorgopoulos. How do you pronounce it?
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like guru of improv at IO in New York, or excuse me, in Chicago. And he told me, I came up to him at the end of class. He's kind of like the gatekeeper towards the performance level. Every student at IO has to go through class with Noah in order to graduate. And at the very last class, I came up to him at the very end and said, hey, do you have any specific notes? And he said, yes. I can tell that you think in a demented way. I was like, whoa. And he goes, lean into it. I want you to be even more demented. Whatever's going on in your head, just let it come out. Just let yourself be as weird as you want to be. And then he said, let your freak flag fly. So like 3 different ways. It's pretty much just what you said, Deric, is just let yourself be who you are on stage and don't try to hide that person.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I guess, life advice also.
It is, yeah. And a lot of improv advice is directly translated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what the UCB4 say.
A lot of people say, I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed like actual improvements in my life when I started doing this, and the better I got at it. Like I think just like listening and talking to people and positive influences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely became more positive doing improv, which is hard.
So I got another question for you, Deric.
Yeah.
What's the worst advice you ever got that you wish you could like unhear? Like something that you might have thought made sense and it hurt more than it helped, or what's the worst advice like a teacher or a coach gave you?
I still think this is wrong, but it's basically learn how to do accents very well.
Yeah.
I cannot do an accent to save my life. It's bad.
Yeah.
Every accent I do sounds Jamaican.
Dude, as long as you commit, that's all that matters.
Exactly. I cannot do any other accent. It's awful. But yeah, I think that's the worst thing. I think you're supposed to, you're supposed to be confident. If I'm speaking Jamaican, I'll say, no, I'm speaking Gaelic or Italian. So, I don't know. What about you guys?
Worst advice?
Yeah.
Worst advice I ever received was in a workshop, and it was one of those workshops at IO called 10,000 Hours, where it's like newer coaches coming out trying to try coaching for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a scene where someone got another person's name wrong on stage, and the advice was whenever someone gets a name wrong on stage, you have to address it. You have to make sure that you let the audience know that you're in control, that you can cover it up. When really a name is such a small part of a scene that I think you can blow right by it. There's many ways to handle it. I just disagreed with the way that it was being presented in that room.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Have you ever been called out for that, like saying the wrong name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
It feels terrible on stage, especially if it's a busy audience.
It's just whatever. I mean, yeah, you could just make it up. Like, hey, this is your middle name or something. It's fine.
Yeah, I just don't even acknowledge it. I just roll with it. If somebody calls me something else, like, okay, that's my name now. Fuck it. Yeah. Just,
The worst thing is like if you're playing a woman and they call you a dude, and like you have to kind of try to fix that.
Dude, I think the worst advice that I've ever gotten, and this took me months, if not years, to fix, like to correct, right? So I'm doing a show, and it's a pretty decent audience, and then there was two girls on my team, and they're fantastic players and fantastic people. And they go out, and they're having a bad scene, right? So I found like a point where I could have swept, and it's like when I first started, and it took me like a fucking year to relearn how to do this. It's like, okay, I need to edit, you just go for it, right? Well, I swept the scene. Other people came on, the show got better, and everything progressed. Somebody in the audience complained to the theater saying that we didn't let the girls play long enough, right? And it was like kind of like us being like shitty dudes not letting the girls play. So we all had a discussion of like, no, you need to let other people out there, like give them a chance for the scene to develop, and you swept it too early. And all that did for me, and I think a lot of people on my team at the time, led to just like shittier, like longer scenes. Like, like people wouldn't come out and save you when you needed saved. So I think the intent of it was good, but the whole idea of, I have a teacher here that calls that being lazy, like you're polite, but you're being lazy. Like if you sleep, you should err on the side of sleeping too early than too late. So that took a while for me to fix. Like that's like and I get where it came from, right? Because that's true, like shouldn't cut people off prematurely, especially just based on, their gender or sex or whatever. But if the scene's shit, you gotta, you're doing them a disservice by letting it run.
It's hard. There's a lot of weird social things because I've talked to this woman who was 60-something and gray hair, still like a grandma. She was saying like, hey, I never get a chance to do my scene. People was like speak over me and overpower me, which, people do experience like weird racism, sexism there, and you wouldn't think it, but yeah, it happens.
Oh yeah.
Like there's been times where they made me like the criminal. I'm like, oh no, I'm the dad. I'm not a criminal.
I actually think that happens a lot. Like I've heard that happen to my other friends, like African Americans that perform improv. Do you think that there's like an issue with that? Like with, I know it's generally white male dominated, but
Yeah.
with actual discrimination within the scenes and within theaters.
I think it's just a culture of not having certain people around, certain diversity around. That's pretty much it. There's nothing you can do about that besides, other people to try to be open. Yeah, like it kind of sucks.
Yeah,
You kind of have to roll the punches. It's awful.
So do you think there's a way to get more people of color and like people of like, like LGBT people and other people aside from 25 to 35-year-old straight white male overweight with glasses and a beard?
I don't know, man. Because look at SNL. There's a lot of really funny females. I think most of the cast, the funniest are the females. I don't know. I don't know why. Actually, you have like Nick Cannon hit the Wild 'N Out show. That's free. That's basically improv. So it is kind of growing, but I don't know how to push that towards a diverse group.
So I think we're coming up towards the end of this interview. I'm seeing if there's any other questions I want to ask you. Is there anything you want to say? Anything you want to talk about? Plug any shows or?
We have no shows.
Oh yeah, I forgot. It's the end of the world.
Did you forget about Corona? Yeah, that's.
Dude, have you done like a Zoom show or a Zoom mic yet? Or
no, we're doing a Zoom practice in like an hour.
Yeah.
Is that your first one, or have you been doing a bunch of them?
We've been doing them, but we can't. It's hard. Like it's hard to have that same sense of humor and the quickness. It's hard. We haven't figured it out yet. What about you guys? Are you guys doing stuff online?
Just a couple online classes. Sorry. There's like a little bit of a delay with the audio, so I'm sorry if I'm talking over you guys. My computer's a piece of shit, man. But no, I'm taking a couple online classes. Like my Second City class went online. I had one in-person class, and then it changed over. Actually, not too bad. And then I'm taking 2 electives at the Magnet, New York online.
You're taking right now, like improv classes?
Yeah, dude, it's pay what you can. So anywhere from $1 to $350. And they're 4-week classes. So I'm taking one on like characters, and then one on like heightening. It's called. So it's pretty cool. Nice. I kind of feel like I'm invaded. I saw it and I signed up, and like I'm like the only non-New York person in the thing, so I kind of feel like a dick for yanking it. But it's pretty cool. How about you?
I'm taking a sketch writing class right now through UCB New York.
Yeah.
Awesome. I tried the improv via Skype thing, and it just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
I tried to force it. I just can't. I play very physically, and I want to be like connected to my scene partner when I perform. Obviously, I just wasn't feeling it. So I was worried about developing bad habits, even though I'm sure you can develop like broader skills through Skype and Zoom improv. Mm-hmm. But I think sketch, you can still do sketch. Of course, very easy to do a table read. So that's what I've been focused on. And I reached out to, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Backline podcast, you two.
Oh yeah, Second City Toronto guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob Norman and Adam Colley out at Second City in Toronto. And I shot them a note because they're upping their podcast game right now. They're talking about sketch, but they're also addressing questions about the quarantine. And I shot them a question just asking about, should I be forcing myself to do improv? Do you think it's like necessary in order to like keep up with the momentum that we all have had? I just graduated from IO, so I want to keep up that momentum. And his feedback was, if you're not enjoying it, then drop it, because it should be an art form that's focused on fun. If you're not having fun, then it's not going to do anything for you. So I was like, thank you for validating my laziness. I'm going to just say goodbye for 2 months.
It's been hard to be creative lately. I don't know what it is. I can't think of jokes or sketches. It's just I don't know if it's like the anxiety of all the stuff going around, but it's been just hard to be creative. Just for me. I don't know if it's for you guys, but just trying to get past that.
It's weird because not leaving my apartment, aside from the occasional grocery store run, I feel like I'm hurting for experiences to write or talk about. So with stand-up, I have been able to write some jokes, but it's mostly just stuff, a lot of like story kind of telling stuff, which I don't really vibe with. So I don't know how that's gonna go. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that's funny. I wrote a sketch about getting in a fight with my mom. I wrote a sketch about watching a dog show on TV. Yeah, so there's definitely limited experiences to draw from right now.
Yeah.
I've been going for long walks. That's how I've been handling it. Just go for long walks and try to escape it.
Yeah. That's what we all need to do. I need to do that too.
Okay, well, I'm excited to see you perform and play with you again sometime, Derek.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can link up next time in Pittsburgh, or if you want to come up here, maybe I'll see you in LA.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, cool. So before we go, you just want to say some of your social media. Do you do anything on social media or like your team or anything? If you want to give it a shout out, we can also put it in like the description of the podcast.
Okay. For my, everything is just Deric Brown, and spelled Deric Brown, like the color. That's on Instagram, Twitter. I don't really tweet anymore.
Yeah, Twitter sucks, doesn't it?
I just, I have dyslexia, so I would like do jokes like, oh, it's gonna be hilarious. I do it really quick, and people would read it like, what the hell is this? I just found out recently I had dyslexia, which sucks. So if you go to Facebook and you type in Crocodile's Dilemma, you'll find us. Yeah, it's really easy. Just Google us. We'll come up.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, this has been Comedy Coalescence with our guest, Deric Brown. I'm Chris. This is Brian over here in the corner, I think, at least on my screen. But see you guys later. Thanks, Deric.
Nice meeting you, Brian. All right. See you guys.